Alright, today we're going to continue what we were talking about last teachings. We were talking about Nimrod, we were talking about Semiramis, we were talking about what Yahshua said concerning the Nicolaitan doctrine. This doctrine that Yahshua hates. We were talking about, so what's consisted of the Nicolaitan doctrine? This was consisted of the Nicolaitan doctrine. What? Idolatry, yep. Sexual immorality, and compromises. Compromising. Those three elements are in the midst of the Nicolaitan doctrine. If there is any done, what I mean by that, if you're an idolatrous worshiper, if you're in sexual immorality, or you compromise, what does compromise mean? Compromise in this state means you're compromising to do what? Wrong. That is consistent of the what? The Nicolaitan doctrine. The doctrine which who hates? Yahshua hates that doctrine. So anyone that's in that doctrine, now these are the ones he's talking about. Who is he talking about? Is he talking about the world, or is he talking about the ones in him? The ones in him he's talking about. He's talking to the assemblies that he had Yakin write these letters to the what? The Malak of the Kahal of whatever city he was referring to. And these cities, when you look them up, are pretty much in the Turkish area. Okay. Nicolaitan doctrine. We broke down what the Nicolaitan mean. Okay. Now we're going to discuss. How this thing came to be. Okay. Let's turn to Ahikalu. All right. Chapter 12. Interpretive Revelations. Okay. And I want to go to Yehezkel, chapter 14 too. Let me see. Or Yahazakal, or people interpret Ezekiel, chapter 14 too. Let me see. Let's see what verse in chapter 14. Was it 14? Yahshua's name. Was it Yesiyah 14? Let me see. Yesiyah 14. Take my time with this. Yesiyah 14. Yesiyah 14. We'll deal with that one. Okay, chapter 14 in Yehezkel. Let me see if that was 24. Take my time with this. Okay, let me see. This is talking about, was that 24? Talking about the book of Yehezkel, talking about past the time. It has to come to me Yahshua's name in the book of Yehezkel, and if you know what it is. I read it earlier. Let me see, in the book of Yehezkel. Did I? I know I read it earlier. Okay. Well, Yesaya 14, remember that. But go to I know it. Well, go to Hikalu into Revelations chapter 12. Okay. Alright. Verse start on verse 7. And there came to be fighting in the Shemayim. I'm reading from the Scriptures version. Okay. From the Institute for Scripture Research. Okay. Alright. Alright. Read that again. And there came to be fighting in Shemayim. Mikahal and his Malachim and her messengers fought against the Tanin, or the dragon. And the dragon and his Malachim fought, but they were not strong enough, nor was a place found for them in the Shemayim any longer. Verse 9. And the great dragon was thrown out, that serpent of old, called, they have here the devil, and Hasatan, who leads all the world astray. He was thrown to the earth, and his Malachim were thrown out with him. Okay. Alright, let me continue. And I heard a loud voice saying in Shemayim. Now this loud voice saying in Shemayim, gee, I wonder what language this voice was, in order for Yachanan, who was an Abare, understood what was said in Shemayim, or interpreted in English. Now have come the Yahshua in the power and the reign of our Halhaim, in the authority of his Mashiach, for the accuser of our brothers, who accused them before our mighty one day and night, has been thrown down. And they overcame him because of the blood of the Lamb and because of the word of their witness or testimony, and they did not have their lives unto death. So let's get back. Verse 7 again. And there came to be fighting in the Shemayim. Micaiah or Mikahal and his Malachim or messengers fought against who? Hasatan. So what occurred? Well, let's go back to Yesaya. Okay. Yesaya chapter 14. Okay. Okay. Start with verse 11. Okay. Your arrogance has been brought down to Sheol. In the sound of your string instruments, the maggot is spread under you, and the worms cover you. How you have fallen from the Shemayim, or Hilal. Well, what does the King James Version say? Lucifer. Okay. Lucifer is another word for luck, and another word for Jupiter. Okay. So who are they talking about? Hilal, or Hilal, or Halal. Gee, what word do we say that resembles that name? Hallelujah. Now what was this individual able to do? Okay. Son of the morning. That means he was bright. Okay. You have been cut down to the ground, you who lay low the nations. For you have said in your heart, let me go up to Shemayim. Let me raise my throne above the Kokab of Yah, or Hal, and let me sit in the mount of appointment on the sides of the north. Let me go up above the heights of the clouds. Let me look like Ha'al Yom. But you are brought down to Sheol, to the sides of the pit. Okay. So why was there fighting? We'll go back to Hahikalu. So why was there fighting in Shemayim? Okay. This individual that Yahweh created, his name was Halal, not Lucifer. People want to refer to him as Lucifer. Lucifer is a what? It's a, yeah, it's Jupiter, it's Roman, okay. They want to refer to Hilal or Halal, which means to be bright. But we say Hallelujah, Yah. Now we see when folk say that Hallelujah means what? Praise ye the Lord. Now we see who is laughing here. This individual called Hasatan is what? The accuser of the brother. Look, Yahweh, they praise you and they don't even know it's you they're praising. So who wants this praise? Hasatan. He was Hilal or Halal when he was in the Shemayim. But he got this pride within himself. And what did Yahweh do? He cast him out. Yahshua said, I beheld Hasatan when he was cast out of Shemayim down to the earth. Now let's talk about that time frame. There's this preacher. We're going to go to Bereshit, interpret Genesis, Bereshit, okay, chapter 6, all right. There's this preacher, all right. So let's go up to this event that occurred, okay. Go up to the event that occurred, chapter 6. Up to the event that occurred. So what did occur? What occurred? Okay, one, Yahweh created the Shemayim and the Eretz. Okay, Yahweh created the Shemayim and the Eretz. All right, then what did he do? He created the to go all the way to. He made grass and trees, and he separated the waters from the waters. And he made the sky. He made the Kokabim, he made the sun, he made the moon, he made the days and the night, he made the earth, you know. When he separated the waters from the waters, he made the dry ground, called it earth or Retz, and he made the shrubbery and the trees and things, and he made the birds of the air and the fish for the sea and the waters. He made the great creatures. Hallelujah. He also made the animals and the creepy things that crawl, the cattle and everything, and then he made man, or Adam. Okay, and he placed Adam in the garden. And he seen, you know, so that Adam could tend the garden that Yahweh placed there. All right, and Yahweh seen that it was not told for man to be alone, so Yahweh made the animals. He created animals, placed them in the garden with Adam to see what Adam was going to name them. So what did that mean for Adam? Adam has what? Authority. He has dominion. Okay. Then Yahweh said it's not told for man to be alone. He said again, so what did he do? He put Adam into a what? A deep sleep. And he took half of Adam's rib and made Isha and brought her to him. See, now we see the marriage. What normally occurs in the marriage? The father gives away his daughter to be what? Married. So who gave away the daughter to be married? Yahweh did. Yahweh brought her to who? Adam. And Adam said, she's now, in interpreted English, she's bone of my bone. This is word now. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Let a man leave his what? Ab and Em, father and mother. See, this is word. And they should be a what? One flesh. Let a man leave his what? Ab and Em, his father and mother, and cling to his what? Own wife, not own wives. Isha, not plural. And they should be a what? one flesh. So therefore, who spoke that word of marriage? Who spoke that word of marriage? Adam did. Adam did. Why was Adam able to speak that word? Yahweh gave him authority over the earth. So look, so since Yahweh gave Adam authority over the earth, therefore he's in charge of who? Everything. Everything. And Yahweh honored every word that came out of whose mouth? Adam's mouth. Everything. Adam had authority over what? The whole earth. Everything. Now look at this. Now look. Yahweh gave Adam because he said he made Adam in their late image and in the what? Their likeness. So therefore, whatever Yahweh is, Adam is the same. So when Adam began to speak, that's another testimony. Another confirmation. When Adam began to speak, what language was he speaking? From Yahweh. Yahweh breathed into him the breath of Kayah. So when Yachanan was on the island of Patmos and he said he heard, what language did he hear? Abrit in Shemayim. That's automatic. We can't say anything against that. A Greek can interpret it in a Greek, a Latin can interpret it in Latin, and the English can interpret it in English, and it can go all the way down. But the original of what Yachanan heard, Yachanan was not Greek, he was not Latin, and he's definitely not English or any branch of these. Abrit. So since he's Abrit, he was able to make out what was what?
What was spoken?
What was spoken. Now you had Adam here. Way back now, 6,000 years ago, way back have authority over the whole earth. You have dominion over this. So since you have dominion over this, you're held responsible for everything that I created on this earth. Because this is for you. Well, let's read this again in the book of Tehillim, 1:15 again. Let me read that part again. Hashemayim, Shemayim LeYahweh. As for the Shemayim and the Shemayim, the heavens and the heavens interpreted, the Shemayim and the Shemayim to Yahweh. Waha'ares Natan Levnai Adam. But in the earth he has given to the sons of man, the sons of Adam, Livnei Adam. That was in verse was that 27? It's in Abrit. 17. Or 16 rather. 1:15. Tehillim.
Tehillim 1:15. What verse?
16.
Okay.
This is in the Abrit though.
Okay.
9. Tet is 9. Zion is 7. So 9 and 7 is what? 16. Alright. That's in the Tehillim book. It might be in a different verse in the King James version.
It's 1:15, 16. The Shemayim, even the Shemayim, are Yahweh's, but the earth have been given to the children of men.
Right. So
that's 1:15, 16.
yeah. So look. So that being the case, the earth. Who was the first man? Adam. His name means reddish. And his name means man. And his name means ruddy, which means he was handsome. Okay. And he had dominion over the whole earth and everything of the earth. That's what it was like in the beginning. But what occurred in the Shemayim? Halal,
Wanted to be.
right, like Yahweh. And there was a great what? Fight in Shemayim. To where he did what?
Cast out.
And who else got cast out?
A third.
A third that halal deceived. And they were cast down to where? Yahshua said, I beheld Hazatan. What did that mean when Yahshua said, I beheld Hazatan when he was cast out of Shemayim down to the earth? He was there. He was the one in authority. He was the one in authority to make this occur. He was there. You don't get past Yahshua. Why? Because he's the all and he's also the top. He's the Reshit Waha Tachlit. He's the Roshel Waha Achron. You don't go before him or after him. He's there. He's the one. Okay, now, so now, what occurs? Let's go up in time now. They have two children. They got kicked out of the garden because Adam ate of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of Tov and Ra that he wasn't supposed to do, because Hasatan came in a form of a nachash, a serpent. Yahweh cursed the serpent, Yahweh cursed the woman, and Yahweh cursed the ground that he cursed the ground. Right, he cursed the ground. Let's go over this. The book of...
He could have took him out right.
Right. But I should... Okay. Chapter 3. Starting with verse 1. And Hanachash, the serpent, was more crafty than all the lives of the field which Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, is it true that Elohim has said, do not eat of the tree from the garden? Now look at this now. We read in the book of Yeshua, and earlier, way earlier, we read from the book of Yehezkel, dealing with how Hasatan exalted himself. And we read the scriptures of what Hasatan, or Halal his name was, that he had authority over. But he found in himself to want to be like Yahweh. No, there's only one Yahweh. No one else is above him. Yahshua Yahweh, that is he. No one is above him. But we're joint heirs with Mashiach. We're heirs of Yahweh and joint heirs with Mashiach. So, in that, now where we stand. Right. We're heirs of Yahweh.
Yeshua.
As what type of children?
His children.
When a person says an heir, what does that mean?
Whatever he has, you get.
Royal, right.
Mm-hmm.
See, he's the richest of all.
Right.
He's the Malach HaOlam. All is subjected to him.
Right.
And we're his heir.
Right.
We're like a child. We're like a child now. We're like a child in the midst of the royal family. How, in a worldly state, how do folk act? The children know who they belong. See, look, the children know who they belong to. You can't tell them like this. Here goes the testimony again. When I was up in Chicago area, Waukee, when I was in the Navy, I was going to electrical school up there back in '88. And went to the mall there, and I didn't exactly meet, but I knew Mr. T's daughter. And she knew she was Mr. T's daughter. How'd she know she was Mr. T's daughter? She was my dad is a what? He's an actor. And I'm his what? Daughter. You can't do what? You can't touch me. She walked through the mall, stuck up and everything. Why? She knew who she belonged to, and she knew no one could touch her. We are heirs with who? We're heirs to Yahweh. I said it right. No, I said, we're heirs to Yahweh and joint heirs with Mashiach. Isn't Yahweh and Yahshua on the same? Boom. So what does that make us with them? We're all Ha'ab, Haben, and us. Is it everybody? No. Or is it those in him? The ones that are in him. Now you have Adam here with the authority. And see, Hasatan couldn't stop in Shemayim that he's already defeated. And he knew where he's going. But he wanted to do what? Now, since he deceived the 1/3 Malachim in the reign of Yahweh because he couldn't get to the place where he wanted to be, now what did he want to do? He wanted dominion over the earth. So what did he do? He deceived the woman, which caused Adam to do what? Sin. Caused Adam to sin. The woman was what? Deceived. But Adam, right, he committed. Sin and death didn't come through his wife. She was just deceived. Sin and death came through who? Why?
Because he was the one in authority. Yahweh gave authority.
That's right. You're held accountable for this. That's why Yahshua is the second Adam. He's not the second Hawa. Yahshua is the second what? Adam. He's Ben Ha-Adam. Son of who? Adam. Not Ben Ha Hawa. Right. So what occurred here? Now, chapter 3, verse 1. And Hanachash, the serpent, was more crafty than the lives in the field which Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, is it true that Elohim has said, do not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to Hanachash, we are to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh has said, do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die. And the Hanachash said to the woman, you shall surely not die. For Elohim knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing Tov and Ra, interpreting good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was beneficial for food, that it is pleasant to the eyes, and the tree desirable to make one wise. And she took up its fruit and ate, and she also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Then the eyes, that's why the scripture says dealing with sin, or loving the world. Lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and what? The pride of life, or the pride of existence. Okay. Verse 7. Then the eyes of both of them were open, and they knew that they were naked. See, at first they didn't matter. Everything perfect. No shame, nothing.
Right.
Now, what came?
Sin. I mean,
Disobedience.
Which caused them to sin.
Right. Now his eyes
Now
are
you
open.
know.
Oh boy.
This is wrong.
This is wrong. Now I see myself. Now I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I see it's not pleasant. I changed. See, I changed. I'm supposed to be this way. Now I see I am what? This way. I'm in what? Trouble. Why I say I'm in trouble? Listen. Why I say I'm in trouble? Listen. Okay. They sewed fig leaves together and made loin coverings for themselves. They realized that they're in trouble. Why they realized they were in trouble? And they heard the voice of Yahweh, him walking about in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh, him among the trees of the garden. That's how I know I was in trouble. How did I know I was in trouble? Because I heard Yahweh coming. And I know I did what? Wrong. So what I try to do, what did my wife and I try to do? Hide. Why we try to hide?
Because Yahweh coming to get them.
Because we knew we were what? Wrong. Yahweh Elohim called unto Adam and said to him, where are you? Like he didn't know already. Okay. And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself. Okay. Now listen to this. And he said, who made you know that you were naked? Uh-oh. Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded that you should not eat? So why did Yahweh say that? Because Yahweh knew when you eat this, Adam, this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. Did he say, look at this. Did Yahweh say, you have eaten of the tree of which I can, no. Who made you know that you were naked? Did Yahweh say, you're dead now? See, the thing is this, even though that is the case, but the thing of it is this, Yahweh knew when you eat that fruit, your eyes are going to be open. You're going to know what you did. You're going to know what you did. What did he do? He was disobedient. Now he see who he really is. He's not supposed to see that. He's supposed to see that he's what? Innocent in the eyes of who? Yahweh. When you're innocent in the eyes of Yahweh, that means you don't go out to do what? Wrong. So no one can accuse you. So when the accuser of the brethren try to come out, how can he accuse the brother when the brother's right? He can't unless Hasatan does what? He lies. He's the father of lies. Okay, now look at this. Have you eaten the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat? The man said, the woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me the tree and I ate. So what is Adam trying to do? Put the blame on his wife. That's a coward move, isn't it? Just to try to do what? To get out of the heat. Okay. Because you gave her to me, now this has occurred. If you wouldn't have gave her to me, I wouldn't have to worry about this, Yahweh. I wouldn't have messed up, Yahweh. So what's he trying to do? because you gave me this woman. She caused me to.
But he put it on the woman, but he put
it on Yahweh for bringing her to him.
That ain't working.
It didn't work. But what was Yahweh doing? Yahweh seen that it wasn't told for Adam to be alone.
So he being compassionate.
Right.
Somebody do.
Hooking them up.
Yes.
Yahweh's a total father.
Yes.
He take care of his people.
Yes.
He seen it was not told for Adam to be alone. I have someone for you, Adam. Someone that you're really gonna.
Part of you and everything.
Right. That you're gonna adore and everything. She's gonna be all. This individual who I'm gonna bring to you. You're. See. You talk about compatibility. What do they say? Opposites attract? No, they don't. No, they don't. Look. That is the false-faced lie.
You're right, opposites.
Don't attract. They don't attract. How's the opposite attract? You walking in Yahshua, this individual walking in Hasatan. How y'all two attracting? Every time someone does an action, in the bed, focus, it's going to be heated, in the bed while y'all trying to sleep, when someone open up their big mouth and say something wrong, or does something right, and the one who's wrong don't like the fact that the one who's doing right is saying something right, doing something right. How the opposites attract? They don't attract. See, people are looking at this from a fleshly thing. You can't look at it through a fleshly thing. You got to look at it through the spiritual thing.
Right.
Opposites don't attract. Compatibility attracts. Same ruach. See, everything about it. Same flesh. Bone of my bone. Flesh of my flesh. Same ruach. How we know this? Because Yahweh breathed into Adam the birth of Chayah. He made woman, he had to do the same thing for her too. So what ruach was in the woman? Yahweh's ruach. Now look at this. Yahweh's ruach in Adam, Yahweh's ruach in Hawa. Are they the same ruach?
Yes.
So look at the two. They were what? Made for one another.
Right.
And what did Adam try to do? The coward thing out of this to get out the heat.
Put it on his wife.
Put on his wife, which, like you said, put on Yahweh, because this, see, you, the one you gave to me.
The one you gave me.
One you gave to me, Yahweh, remember? Caused me to do this. See, if you wouldn't have given her to me, this would have occurred. If Yahweh wouldn't have gave Hawa to him, this is what Adam would have done. She the only one there, right? In the garden, right? Adam would have been like this all the time. Walking around. With his eyes covered. And seeing his wife, that Yahweh pulled half of his rib, and Adam would have ignored her. No, he wouldn't have.
Let me help you out. You cute.
The attraction is already, how's the attraction already there?
Because they both have Yahweh.
What was the first thing? Yahweh took half of Adam's rib. That's already part of him. Already. So there's no way that they could be apart. No way. Say it again.
That's your rib over there.
That's your rib over there. There's no way they could be apart. No way. No way. See, that's right. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. See, Adam should have said, yeah, I messed up, Yahweh. See, I messed up. I messed up. He shouldn't have had to say the woman that you gave to me. He was just trying to put it off. Get the heat away from him. Okay. Right. Now look at this. Now look at this. Yahweh Elohim said to the woman, "What is this you have done?" This is what the woman said. And the woman said, "Hanachash deceived me and I ate." So how many guilty parties are there? There's three. But he didn't say nothing about the third one yet. But look at this. Okay, let's continue. And Yahweh Elohim said to Hanachash now, "Because you have done this, you are cursed among more than all the livestock." Now I'm going to see what word is used. Word Yahweh used in this curse. Alright. This is verse 14. Okay. Aror. See, aror means to spit on. So when Yahweh said, now look at this now. Look at this. Yahweh Elohim said to Hanachash, "Because you have done this, you are a roar." A roar means to spit on. So what does that mean with Yahweh in this Hanachash? A roar means to spit on.
Right.
We use the term curse. So what does that mean to Yahweh in this Hanachash, interpreted serpent? If Yahweh said a roar, which means to spit on,
Right.
the English use curse. What is Yahweh to this?
He despised it.
He despised this. That he's saying this. If the Hanachash came by him, Yahweh was going to do what? Spit on him. When you spit on a person, what does that mean?
You hate him.
You loathe this. You detest this individual.
Right.
What did they do to Yahshua? They roar him. They spit on him. That's not a kosher thing. When someone spit on you,
You ready to fight.
they don't want you what? Around them. They don't want you around. They despise you. Okay. So when the English use the term curse, the word is aror, which means to spit on. Okay. So how does Yahweh feel about this Hanachash?
He hate.
He despises. Okay. Now, more than all livestock and more than every beast of the field, on your belly you are to go and eat the dust all the days of your existence. And I put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall crush your head, and you shall crush his heel. Okay. To the woman. See, first it was Adam all the way to Hanachash. Now, where's the judgment coming, starting? Hanachash, now Yahweh's moving up. See this?
Can I repeat that?
Okay. First it was from Adam down to Hanachash. Now the judgment is from Hanachash up to Adam. You see this? First, this dealing with you, Hanachash. Now I'm going to deal with you, woman.
Okay.
You see this?
Okay. Yeah.
Who did Yahweh come to first? He came to, first he came to Adam first.
Right.
And then what did Adam do?
To the woman.
To the woman. And then did the woman do? To Hanachash. So now Yahweh is coming back. Who did he start out with? Hanachash. Now he's coming to who?
The woman.
The woman. Now, To the woman he said, I greatly increase your sorrow in your conception. I do this. Not you, not anyone else, but I do this. Okay. Who do this? Do what?
Greatly multiply you and increase your sorrow. Well,
In what?
well, in conception.
In conception. So normally you hear when a woman is getting ready to have her baby and things, who does she blame?
The man.
The man. Don't blame the man.
That's Yahweh.
Yahweh's doing this.
Already.
Already done.
Doing that.
Yahweh said he's going to do this. Not Adam. Yahweh. So there's no getting away from the pains. No way. No way. When Yahweh confounded the languages, there's no way you're going to get a... You see this? When Yahweh does something, he do it and you can't reverse it. Right. That's right. That's right. When Yahweh do something, you cannot undo it. When Yahweh don't do something, you can't do it. You see this?
Right.
Right.
He opened up the door.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You can't top Yahweh. Right. You can't top him. Whether he do something or not, you cannot top him. If he don't do something, that means you can't do it. If he does something, that means you can't do anything against what he does. Okay. To the woman he said, I greatly increase your sorrow in your conception. Bring forth children in pain. And your desire is for your husband, and he does rule over you. Your desire is for your husband. What does that mean? You crave your husband and you try to boss him around and stuff. Why? He's mine. You see what I'm saying? When a person speaks that way, what are they doing?
Letting you know that.
No, they're putting authority over. You see? They're putting authority over. Possession. When you put possession over something, no one is able to do what? Touch it. Then what is the person going to do? Fight for. Well, guess what? You better make sure that Yahshua is leading in this. Because if he's not leading in this, you're taking the what? Authority. Because what did he say after that? He shall rule over you.
Okay. And thy desire shall be to your husband.
Desire means to crave.
What you're saying.
When a person craves over something or someone, they're taking what? Authority over. This is not a spiritual thing. This is a fleshly thing. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the what? Pride of life. What does pride do? It puffs you up. It puffs you up. One thing that men cannot do is be humble. And woman cannot what? Or submissive. I'll reiterate that. It's hard for a man to be humble, and it's hard for a woman to be submissive. Why?
Women want to be in charge.
And a man want to be in charge. Pride. Pride. Pride tears down both. Pride tears down both. Is this a beneficial thing It's beneficial, but is this the Yahweh is this because of y'all did right?
No, no.
Or y'all did what?
Wrong.
Since y'all did wrong, this is what's going to take place.
Right.
Yahweh confounded the languages. Why? Did he do that because the things were going right?
No.
Or things were going what? Wrong. We're going to be talking about. Okay. In the midst of everything that was why Yahweh did what he did, they wanted to make a name for themselves. It would be defiant. Alright, continue so we can go over. And to the man he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, do not eat of it. Now, what word to use? Curse is the ground, correct? 17. Alright, 17. Curse. Arora. Yahweh saying spit. Arora means to spit. What's Yahweh saying?
You despise the ground.
I despise the ground that you're on because you did this. I made everything right for y'all. And y'all what?
Disobeyed.
Yeah. Because your disobedience caused me to react this way, Yahweh said. Because you all did what you did. Causes me, now look at this. Because you all act the way y'all act, caused me to do this. Now, getting back. Okay, now look at this. Now, let's go up in time now. Now you had Cain and Habal, right? Cain kills Habal. See, the first murder. Now, the sons of men are populating. Okay, now look at this. Alright, now go to chapter 6. Remember, Yahweh kicks Adam and Hawa out of the garden because of the sin. They had a child named Cain, and they had Habal. Chapter 5 talking about the Yachasin, the genealogies of man now, all the way up to chapter 6. Chapter 5, verse 32, and Noah. No, go back to chapter 5, verse 28. No, go to verse 21. Read that.
5:21.
Yeah.
And Enoch.
Which is Hanok.
Hanok.
Stop right there. Hanok is what we're going to talk about, the book. Okay? And I'll continue. Now this book that Hanok wrote talk about the flood coming and judgments. Okay? Go ahead, read.
And Hanok lived 65 years and begot Methuselah.
Okay, stop right there. The name Methuselah. Okay, let's separate this name. Alright. Now, remember, go back, Adam. What did Yahweh do? He cursed Hanachash. He brought sorrow for a woman in the childbearing. And he cursed the ground of Adam. And he's going to work. He roared these. Now look at how all this is going. So is it getting better for man or is it getting worse? Who came down here? Who came down here to mess things up? Where did he come from? Who did he bring down with him? So how do you think these guys are?
Evil.
Keep all this in mind. Now what's going on with Adam? When I say Adam, I'm talking about mankind. What's going on with Adam from the time of the first Adam until this time of Hanok and Methuselah? What's going on here?
Killing.
all sorts of stuff,
Right.
all sorts of sin. So did sin diminish, or was sin getting greater and greater and greater and greater?
Greater and greater. I think, what's his name? Lamech. He was killing more so than his dad, Cain. Who was a Lamech?
Lamech is Noach's dad.
No, Lamech. He was like, Lamech said something. Oh, and Yahweh said unto him, therefore, and Lamech took him.
You see right here. And Lamech said to his wives, Adah and Tisla, hear my voice. Wives of Lamech, listen to my words, for I have killed a man for wounding me, even a young man for hurting me. Okay. So what did he do? This is another Lamech.
Okay.
Okay. We didn't get to the Lamech I'm talking about yet.
Well, I'm talking about this one. He was saying that he had killed somebody too, right?
Yeah. See, right.
So,
Like, go ahead.
he said, if Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. So
That's just him.
so I'm just saying things are getting worse because this guy killing too.
How many people is that talking about? You just said two people's name of killing.
Okay, so Cain and Lamech.
How many other people?
Exactly.
You see?
Right.
This is just a report of these individuals.
Right.
This is not a report of everybody
Right.
killing.
Right.
They're not the only two. That's the point. That's the point that you are making.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just Cain doing this.
Right.
It's not just Lamech doing this. But there's other people doing this too. Why? Because murder is now open.
Right.
Why? Because sin was now open. Why? Because disobedience was now open. Why? Because pride was now open. From where? Shemayim. By who? Halal. And Yahweh perverted him, called him what? Hasatan. Cast him out of Shemayim down to the what? Earth. Was he the only one? No. His Malachim came down. Were they all, the person used the term nice? Well, yeah, they were nice if you want to use that true definition. Foolish. But they weren't the most pleasant to be around. They only carry out what their master tell them to do.
Yeah, there ain't gonna be no kind things that he's telling them to do.
He's going to want to have them do worse than he would do.
Right.
Why? Because he wants to stay the hidden one. You see this?
Right.
He wants to stay the hidden one. He wants you to do all this. You do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, you do this. Why? Because I don't want no blame coming on who? Me! You all do all this stuff. You see how he is? He puts everything on who? Everybody else. What's the scripture say? Accuser of the brethren. Putting every blame on who? Everybody else. He wants all his Malachim to do whatever he wants them to do so that it won't be on who? Him. That's who we're dealing with. That's who we're dealing with. Shrewd adversary. He wants to be the hidden one. He don't want no one to see him. He don't want the blame on him. But guess where the blame is going all to?
Him.
Him. He's the culprit. He's the one. If he wouldn't have done what he done in Shemayim, then would he have come down here to deceive the woman, and then the woman do what she did to have Adam do what he did? Now you have all these people acting the way they're acting now. They had that report in the Word to let that people know that that's now there. Lamech and Cain weren't the only murderers out there, or killers out there. There's a whole lot more people now because of this was what? Open now. Now get back to Hanok. Hanok writes this book dealing with the flood coming. And who's he? He has a son named what? Methuselah. Methuselah. Let's break that name down. Let's go to the last part of that name. Shalach means to send. Matu or Mut means what? Death. Death sent. Death sent. Death sent. Hanok writes a book. Hanok is who? His father. He writes a book about what? He writes a book about the flood coming and these spiritual beings that's down here doing what they're doing. And he has a son named who? Methuselah. And his name means death sent. So what is that saying? After Methuselah go, something's coming. Now, let's go down to verse 28. No, verse 27. So all the days of Methuselah were 969 years and he died. Okay. And Lamech lived. Lamech was Methuselah's son. Okay. Lamech lived 182 years and brought forth a son. He was 182 now.
782?
No, he was 182 years old.
Okay.
Okay. And he brought forth a son. So how old was Lamech when he had a son?
182.
I'm sure he had a son before them, sons and daughters before them. But this particular son is named who? Noah. Okay. This is what he said. And called his son Noah, saying, this one does comfort. Noah means to comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands because of the ground which Yahweh has what? Cursed. And Aruah. Let me look at that. Chapter 5. Okay. Yahweh Aruah. Yahweh spit on. So, since Yahweh spit on this ground, okay, that term, how's the actions of man? Evil. 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 Is Yahweh the fault of this? He's very much not. You see, people like to blame bad things on who? Yahweh. It's not Yahweh who do this. It's the circumstance because you did this. This must go down now. Because you done this, Adam. Now, look, the door you opened up. Because of Hasatan, what you've done, you caused this. Now look at all this occurring. Okay. Alright. Now, and after brought forth Noah, Lamech lived 595 years and brought forth sons and daughters. So he was bringing forth sons and daughters. So look at the population of the world now. How many people's on earth?
A lot.
A whole lot of people. They're having sons and daughters at old ages.
Right.
Look,
It's populated.
populate. The girls grow up to have children. Not at no old age. You see this? So you're looking at close time of women having children. How old was Miriam when she had Yahshua? He said she was 13. She was a young age. So that being the case, look at this now. So how populated is the earth? It's really populated because these girls are able to have children. Do they need to be 21 and 30 and stuff to have children? No. And how old are the guys? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800 years, 900 years. And still able to what? Have children. So how populated is the earth now?
Very populated.
It's very populated. Within a 2,000 year time frame. Alright, now we come to Adam. Alright, now let's turn to verse 31. So all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah brought forth Shem, Ham, and Yahweh. We're going to stop right there.